got a special guest, a brother by the name of Dontá Fuller. Man, tell the people something about you.
Well, my name is Dontá Fuller. I live here in Charlotte, and I'm here to talk about my new second published book called Humanly Imperfect.
Okay.
Second, what's your first one?
First one was called Robbed. I wrote that in college, and I decided to just publish it like last year in 2019. I wanted to publish it, just because I wanted to get my pieces out there, my writing pieces. And, I found a way to go through a publishing company, and everything was approved. So
How many writing pieces did you have at that time, or was that your first one to get the ball rolling?
Well, I wrote like a few stories like back in college because I majored in creative writing at UNC Charlotte. And so I wrote a few short stories, and that was like one of them that I wanted to publish.
Okay. So tell us about just the premise behind the book. Like, what was the inspiration behind it?
It was sort of related to my personal life, but it wasn't at the same time, if that makes sense. It was basically like around like realistic fiction. It was about a boy who, lived with his father. He was very abusive and was an alcoholic.
Okay.
His mother wasn't around, and he decided to live with his aunt because his dad had to go to rehab for his alcohol drinking problem and stuff. And so he wanted to look for his mom, and I think throughout the rest of the story, he found out why his mom left. His mom was forced to leave by his dad, and all of it turned tragic towards the end of the story.
Man,
about how long is the book?
I can't remember how many pages. It's about 25 pages.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's
Short
solid.
story. Yeah.
But drop the date of the book and everything when it's going to come out. January, right?
January 2nd.
January 2nd, beginning of the year. All right, starting the year off, right?
Yep.
Do you get to set those dates, or it's like you work with the publisher to figure something out?
No, I set those dates.
Nice. Why was January 2nd significant?
Well, 2020 has been a very rough year for me.
Have you written about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's been a very rough year for me, so I just want to start off, 2021 right, and just talk about, just discuss a lot of things that I've seen, that I've experienced, that I haven't really talked about to a lot of people. So that's, this is my chance to just get my, story out there.
When you talk about things that you experienced in 2020, what is probably the most prevalent that stands out, either by just the magnitude or the biggest effect on you?
I have to say, I lost my job, and
Tough.
Yeah.
Due to COVID, or?
No, it wasn't due to COVID. So I haven't really spoke about this, but I've lost my job like the very beginning of 2020. Okay. Like the first week of 2020.
Wow.
I lost my job, and that, was, very devastating to me because I'll say like several months prior I had lost my job, and I ended up losing another job. And so it was very hard for me, just to find my purpose in life when you deal with all those losses and stuff. And so I just, I was very ashamed dealing with that because
how old are you?
I just turned 25 in July, so I was 24 at the time.
But still,
like losing two jobs.
One year I had 5 jobs, bro. No lie, I promise you.
But
ain't even on my resume no more.
You do got to tell about it. But I think what's important, where I was going to go with it, like mentally, how did you keep going? Like outside of trying to find your purpose, or is that what kept you going? Like, I need to find my purpose.
To find your purpose.
Because when he said you got time, sure, yes, but only if you're making the right strides. Because you got time can turn to, I got time, so I ain't gonna do that. I got time.
Or does it delay it? Meaning you still got time, but if you're not making the right strides, you may not get there as quickly as you want to.
Sure. But it all depends, and I think it's a thin line between eventually either getting there on time, eventually getting there, or not getting there at all. So it's a thin line. Like you may, but you never know. But that's why each step and each opportunity is precious, because like you don't know what the effects could be of it. But how did you stay afloat mentally, as far as wanting to keep going? Because again, like we were saying, you could be like, I got time, it'll be fine, I'm gonna figure something out. Was it just motivation, or you just don't want to quit, or you just found writing as inspiration? What was it?
I just didn't want to quit, and I was motivated to keep going. I mean, at that point, when I lost my job, I knew what I wanted to do. Because right now I'm in grad school for social work.
Okay.
I didn't decide it until last year, like after I lost my other job.
It's the reason behind everything. You lost those jobs to push into what you
I mean, you never know. It's perspective.
Yep.
So I just kept going. I didn't give up. And, you know, I also just, you know, I felt ashamed for a while dealing with those losses. Yeah. But as time went on, I just decided to not be ashamed anymore and just realize, you know, I'm not going to have my, you know, shit together at 24.
Yeah.
So,
trust me.
For one, so I do want to touch on that. So don't forget, I want to touch that, but I do want to ask, why do you think you felt ashamed? Was it because of what others might think? Is it because of your own personal goals for yourself?
I think it was just an insecurity I had with myself. I felt like I just needed to have my stuff together. I needed to be, you know, accomplished.
Society make you feel that way.
Yeah, at an early age, because I'm like coming out of college, have a bachelor's degree, you know.
It's all fake. It's all fake. I hate it, but it's like, who cares? Bachelor's, not saying that to you, but like, that's how jobs be.
Right.
Like, all right, go get some experience. Bro, why did I go to college then?
I spent 3 months out of college, probably 5, looking for jobs. And my first job, I was making like $26,000.
Your bachelor's?
Yes.
So peep this. I spent about 5 to 6 months with a master's and didn't have a job. So I'm like, bro, why is it taking me? Because that's the dream they sell you. It's like, you go to high school, you get a diploma. All right, you get a little cool job. But if you really want to get a job, you'll go to college, get a degree. But if you want a great job, you'll go get your master's. All right, I did all of it. I got nothing. I'm sitting at home with my parents. Like, literally. So I was this close to going to the army. Like, so I wasn't going to go all the way. I was going to do reserves. Bro, I didn't have nothing to do. You got to so I'm going to just give you feedback or context so you don't know. Like, so I graduated. Me and him will be the same class, 2024.
2014, bro.
Hey, I've been out of school a long time. So 2014. I ended up graduating in 2012. So I took that extra time to get my master's. So I finished with my master's in 2014. So, you know, I'm ahead of all my classmates and all that fun stuff. And I'm like, I've been on this trajectory and now it's just a lull. So I did that for 6 months. It's like, well, what am I supposed to be doing? And I was an athlete, so I was used to being active. I'm literally sitting at home. My nephew was just born. Sitting at home watching DJ, getting paid once a month. My sister would pay me the babies. It was like, bro, I didn't get my master's for this. Like, I didn't. And then add that with the fact that I'm just used to being active. I needed something to do. I'm applying, not getting. I'm like, well, look, in the meantime, I'm just going to go to reserves. Get some money. I need to do something. I was thinking like, well, damn, masters did put me in debt. They're going to pay for my school. I'm like, So it was making sense that probably like, as I was looking, sooner than I started looking, probably a week or two later, I got a call. And then that ended up being the job I stayed at for 5 years. But things happen for a reason.
Yeah. But it's easy, man, to have, because I was the same way. Like, I'm a very ambitious person. Like, I have goals, and
our voice is really contrast. I'm sorry, I just noticed it. Like, I'm super loud, and when you get to talk, I'm very ambitious person. Like, you know who's speaking. All right, my bad. I just noticed it.
And people always ask which voice are like people that
it's very distinguishable.
I be like, bro,
I don't sound like that. All right. I don't want the deep voice if they ask.
But like, I'm very ambitious and have aspirations. So when I was 24, I'm thinking, I'm 28 right now. I'll be 29 in December. I thought I'd be married with kids right now. I thought by 24.
Isn't that sick?
Right.
Look at what we was thinking. I can't wait to be 24 and married.
Right.
Damn.
Like,
slow down. There's a street outside. Be on it.
But at 24, I wasn't where I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a vision for my life, like, fully. But it takes time for you to get there. And I think when you see people that are, you know, fake winning, we see that. Or we see people only posting the highlights. Like, we talked about that before. Yeah. You only see the highlights on social media. It's easy to be like, damn, like, how can they have that? Like, I don't have that. Like, how are they able to go here? Like, what are they doing that I'm not? And you can easily start to beat yourself up. But you being able to have that resiliency and know that I'm going to just keep trying no matter what is why you're going to always be successful.
Yeah, that's true. I always stick to that. At a young age, I always had a good work ethic. I always stayed dedicated, and that has never left me. Yeah. Going into being an adult. So I've always stick to that. And also, to a point after I graduated, I just got tired of just trying to make everybody smile. Everybody, You
learn that when you get older. Yeah, you learn that. That's another part of getting old.
That's transitioning right there. Bro. Right.
I got tired of just trying to make everyone around me proud, and it's like, what can I do to make myself proud? Yeah. So I had to worry about myself and worry about my future, but I also needed the right people around me to support me, regardless.
That's just as important too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's interesting. It's something I just thought about when you're like, why am I trying to make everybody proud around me? I think it's a condition when we're kids. You're a kid and, you go to school. Oh, if I be good, my teacher be proud. She'll say, oh, you get a little sticker. Or you go home. Oh, if I get this good grade, my parents will be proud. You get a snack, get a toy or whatever. Like, so you're conditioned, and I'm literally just thinking this. You're conditioned to make other people proud at an early age. Some people, they get kudos. Okay, you do good in school. Good job, buddy. Or you do good in sports, whatever. So they give you kudos, but they don't say, do you make yourself proud? Are you good? Nobody ever, unless I'm wrong, for me, nobody ever said that. Like, did I make you proud? Yes, I'm very proud. Did you make yourself? Like, nobody ever asked me that. And, like, that's something to think about. Like, when you're around kids or somebody younger, maybe start asking that. Are you happy? Are you good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they don't understand it early, but at least it'll plant that seed. So once they get your age, it's not like, oh, again, I'm trying to make everybody else proud. No, they don't think, did make them proud, but did I make myself proud too? So I'm going to do that.
You know what thought that brought up when you were saying that?
What?
How, like, there's the saying, what is it? It's easy to deal with things where things are good or something like that. Like, it's easy for us to accept happiness and joy because we're taught that as kids. If we can make somebody else happy, we'll then be returned with some type of, good energy, right? But when we, like, I know my mama told me when I was mad, who you poking your lips at? Put them lips in. We're not taught to deal with anger or emotions, sadness. Yeah. So when we get older, if you don't really know how to do that, you can go into a very destructive place.
But I think that's the whole thing. I think you mentioned talking about transitioning in your book. I realized recently, like, life is all about transitions, and this can literally branch off in a million places. But I forgot what you said. Like, my mind is going so many places with this transition. When you talk about not dealing with feelings and all that, you think about college and getting your degree. Like, looking back at it, 18 is 10 years from prior to us. You're 24, so that's 6 years. 25. So what is that? That done messed up my life. 7 years.
What?
Last time you were 18?
Oh, yeah.
That's 7 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine knowing what you wanted to do with your life 7 years ago?
Heck no.
And that's what they tell us we're supposed to do. We're supposed to know by 18 what we want to do in school.
I knew my talents and passions, but I didn't know what direction I wanted to take.
And Pete, and I'm not taking nothing away from your talents and passions, but 10 years from now, it could be different.
Yeah, that's true.
So my point is saying that is like, why does society make it so, okay, we're supposed to base our life on what we're going to be doing when we're 30 plus, 40 plus, based off what we make a decision at 18.
That's the fantasy.
It's crazy because the decisions you make, say you do traditional school, 4 years, the basics. That's 4 years out your life that might not matter 10 years later for that. Like, why did I do this? Yeah. So, and then you talk about transitioning. I think sometimes we got to give ourselves grace, even though the world doesn't do it, because we spent 18 years being a kid. And again, 6 years from 18, 7 years from 18, you're 25, and like, you're expecting to have it together.
Right.
It took 18 years to barely get that together. Right. So you're going to need, but again, we're not taught that. We don't see that on TV.
It's easy, and it goes back to us being not able to deal with the negative side of it, because if we saw how hard life, like, our parents always say, you don't want to grow, you don't want to be an adult. You better stay a kid as long as you can. You better enjoy college as long as you can, because when you get an adult, it's going to be different. But we always seeing, the glitz and the glamours of adulthood, like living on your own.
They gotta start showing bills on TV.
Right.
Like, I don't care. They gotta start showing
the
bills.
Real bank account look like.
Like show me, like. So I'm gonna tell you guys, like, Two Can Play That Game, and it was another one where Morris Chestnut was in. And all I saw was maybe. But
or The Best Man.
I think Brothers. Mm-hmm. You know, black man with the suit, office, getting the women, got money. That's what I saw. And I did not realize until recently that's sort of what I based my success off of. Not that I wanted to get that, but like at some point I should be that. Yeah. I should be somebody, you know, in a suit, in the office and all that, because that's what they make success is. But I recently realized, like, they're at a point, there's a time like, okay, I got this title on my resume, I got this one, so the next step should be this one. I'm to the point now, I don't care about the title. As long as the job makes me happy, I'm getting paid what I want to get. Like, who cares? Yeah. It's what they tell you. Oh, your resume got to be this, so the next person, if your resume is nice and tight, that right job gonna find you, gonna be good. Mm-hmm. It'd be just like, it doesn't matter the title. Like all that is for the world. Again, making other people proud. So your LinkedIn to be popping or. What
is success to you now, then? And I want you to answer the same question.
Success to me now, I'm still trying to figure it out. Just again for context, I recently achieved a major goal, so I've been working towards for like 4+ years. Mm-hmm. So right now, I feel like I'm in that moment of success, but at the same time, the way my mind's set up is like, okay, you got that, but that's just one step. So you still see the top. Like, so what's the next step you're gonna take to get there? And I don't know, but I think staying focused and not messing up this opportunity that I got now. I think if I get to a point a few years down the road and I look back like, okay, I did right by that opportunity, that's success. And then I think success is also based off moments. I don't think there's one everlasting, lifelong success thing.
Yeah.
Outside of my deathbed, I'm looking like I made an impact. People I was with was happy. I did right with time. That would be my ultimate. But outside of that, I think it's based off moments.
Okay. I agree with that. What about you?
I look at success as just living your life, doing what you love, and also making an impact on others. Also, I look at success as, you know, not just money, trying to get rich or trying to make a good, you know, earning income. I look at success as just, you know, just being able to do what you love, doing what is important to you, and doing what matters to you. And also just not giving up.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with that. I like that. I like both of those.
So now that you're done agreeing, are you gonna tell us something? You gonna put your own spin on it, or are you good? Like, did we cover it?
I mean, you kind of covered it, but to me, at this point in my life, like, I agree, there's phases in life in which you have levels of success. So for me, at this stage, success is family. So my family good. Once I have a family, I can look at myself as, okay, I'm successful.
Does that impact how you approach relationships? And if it does, do you think that's good or bad?
It is.
It is good or it is impact the relationship? That's very vague, brother.
It does impact my relationships, and that's crazy that you brought this up, because I was having this thought the other day to myself.
Tell us more.
So during this dating stage, I haven't committed to anybody in 3 years, right? But I've dated women in this 3-year period. And if I did not see the one thing that has constantly, because I've dated great women, but the one thing that has constantly been like the determining factor of whether they stayed in my life or not is if I could see myself in a family with them. If I couldn't see you around my friends, my family, then you weren't somebody that I took seriously. You were just fun, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I think it's why I've been single for so long, but it's also why I'm like so like nitpicky too. It's because I have an idea of what I want my family to be feel like. And if the person doesn't fit that, then it's like I can't commit to them 100%.
You know why that's tricky? And again, all we can do is live each day one at a time. Yeah. But it's tricky because that's what Danny thought is today. Yeah. Whereas 2 years from now, you can look back, it's like, well, I was not even that hard on myself or hard on the girl. Like, I should have kept her or whatever.
But I've had those thoughts.
Yeah, it's nothing you can do about it. I was like, I live and learn, but again, you can only live for that moment too. So you can't base it off like, well, shoot, in 2 years, I'm probably going to think this way because that's just probably. You don't know. So you literally can only live in that time.
That's why I know I have to make like I have to be in a relationship.
You just got to try it, trial and error. And I think people, a lot of times when we talk about being scared of commitment, I feel like a lot of times people aren't scared of commitment. They try it, but it's not time for them to commit. If that makes sense.
That's commitment issues, brother.
Well, maybe it is.
But I think I have commitment issues because I feel like I don't want to be in a relationship unless I'm in love.
And that's why I have a problem calling it commitment issues, though, because I think timing is everything. You can want to commit all day long. You can be committed all day long. But like, if you still enjoy doing X, Y, and Z, and that's counterproductive to your commitment,
yeah.
Then what? And then I'm not even talking about like cheating or nothing like that. Yeah. Just this gonna sound. I'm not talking about me. I promise. This,
talking about itself.
No, I'm just talking like the X spot. If you like, and that's counterproductive to your relationship,
right?
Then what? You know what I'm saying? So it's hard, bro. It's hard. It's a very thin line, man. Yeah. Very thin line. So
your book is about relationships, kind of, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, before I continue into that, like this book, I was inspired, by Maya Angelou to do like autofiction. Okay. So it's like autobiography mixed with fiction.
Oh, so this book is about you.
It's about me. Most of it is about me. Yeah, but some parts and pieces in there.
That's kind of like Best Man. He wrote the book about them in college, but he based the characters off of his friends.
Yeah, it's an inspiration. He used life as an inspiration.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I mean, I do that with my rhymes when I rap, man.
All right, so back to autofiction here.
I use auto-tune. I'm joking.
So, what parts of it did you? What parts of your life helped influence the book? Maybe that's a better question. Or what experiences did you have?
Like, the adulthood transitioning. I also didn't mention. Like coming out of college, I got fired from an internship. Like after 3 days, it was.
They didn't like black people,
right?
It was a non-paid internship too.
Damn, that's the worst.
Like after I got fired from that internship,
do you be spazzing on the boss?
I was close, but
what is it? Right?
I was close.
You can level with us now.
Right.
But that kind of made me have low self-esteem about like writing in general, because I didn't know what direction I wanted to take.
It was a writing internship.
Yeah, it was a writing internship, so I didn't know what direction I wanted to take. So here I am now, doing what I love to do, writing books, writing poems, all of that.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
How'd you find that direction?
I was kind of discouraged at first because it's like, becoming a, self-publishing writer and author, it's not guaranteed you make a good earning, but, I don't really care about that anymore. It's more about what I love to do and getting a message out there to people. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah. And I'll say that about this pod. Would it be great if we made a bunch of money? Yes. Absolutely. But that's really not why we do it. We do it, as a chance to open up to each other, and they let people come up and open up about whatever they want, and essentially give them the platform to speak about something that either otherwise they wouldn't feel comfortable or otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to speak on. So come up here, you know what I'm saying? Share your stuff. It's whatever, because a lot of people need that ear. Or just need to talk, and we can relate. And if we can't relate, our listeners can relate, and
the real gonna relate.
It's community.
Yeah.
For me, selfishly, I love the podcast because it serves as therapy. Like, I'm not a person that is very vulnerable with my emotions and how I feel, but I've listened back to season 1 to now. And I've literally seen the change in me, the change in the show, the change in me and Dan, everything. So it's almost served as it's helped me mature to the point of old age, approaching the latter years of the 20s.
So all right, so you say you're not vulnerable, but we've been doing this pod for about 2 years.
But this serves as because I wanted to get therapy, but I've talked about a lot of things on here.
Bro, you ain't got therapy as much as you talked about it, bro. That is wild. He be in the chat. Therapy is good. You get there. This boy is crazy. Ain't with the one session.
But this is therapy. This is therapy because I've talked about things on here that I haven't shared with my sister, my family.
Did she be hearing it?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
That's literally how that's my outlet. Yeah, because
setting it up.
It's been, I don't know, with my family, it's been I guess always felt awkward, and I don't know where it comes from. Maybe that's the part of therapy I want to go to, is understand where the the blockers come up. But when you try to have these type of conversations with your family, it could be difficult. And for me, it's always felt difficult to share emotion and stuff like that.
Me too, but I think that's pretty much our entire culture. I mean, we all black. Like, you don't talk about sharing feelings. Like, they don't share, not a lot share feelings.
Yeah.
And for me, like, there's certain things I would think about having the conversations with my parents. Not even nothing crazy, just maybe about world stuff.
Yeah.
Simple, but you grow up looking at, you know, whoever raised you, your guardian, as this person that knows all, sees all. So it's scary to think you could have a conversation with them, but like, why they think like that? Like, it could taint your view. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to look at you like, dang, you don't be thinking the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my biggest thing. It's like, I don't want to, like, y'all are who y'all are. I want y'all to stay there. Cause y'all already gonna give me your opinion about random stuff. I'm not gonna disagree. So I'm not even gonna bring nothing I'm super passionate about. Yeah. Because then I'm just gonna be like, well, Dad, what is it to talk about then? So that's why I sort of stay away from those type conversations. Like, I just, you know, I open up, express myself, and give your feedback about just random life. Like, hey, here's how life is going.
Yeah.
All right, good. Keep it up. All right, you good? And that's how I do.
Yeah.
But were you able to maintain a good relationship with your aunt?
My who?
Didn't you say you stayed with your aunt, I believe?
That was in the book.
That was the
book?
Rob book.
Oh, so that wasn't true either? See, he's a good writer.
was
He had me convinced.
Bro.
He has me convinced. My bad.
So how's your aunt doing?
Well, it was related. Let's ask, how's your relationship with your family? Any siblings, any of that?
Or what's your perspective on family?
Well, my perspective on family, you know, it's like, how can I put this? I love my family. I really do.
But I hear it coming now. I hear it coming.
There has been times where, you know, I've had rocky relationships with a few of them. And it's more so about, it goes back to, you know, my childhood too. How everything was just, you know, constructed, how everything was just taught to me. And, you know, it's like when you get older, you start to see how some of your family really is, and you start to see their truth. Yeah, get your own perspective. And so that changed how I looked at certain family members. So
is that it changed because based on what you were told certain members were like, or what you thought they were like, or how they acted?
Both what you just said.
All of it?
Mm-hmm.
So
confusing.
So how have you dealt with that with them? Is it like you don't interact with them? You know, you approach them about it? How have you coped?
Well,
or is it writing?
I've mended, you know, with a couple of family members, you know, a couple of them still rocky, not close at all. But I've just, you know, at some point I had to go to counseling, dealing with those type of issues I've had. And so I just got into a point where I just, you know, you still love them, but you just have to accept what comes with them. Yeah. But being an adult now, I have the power of what I will and will not tolerate.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
It's all about, if you want to speak on this, it's all about protecting your peace. You know, if somebody's in your life, I mean, especially we're talking about family, you know, I'm considering family anybody who says they love you and acts on it, then they want to help you protect your peace.
That's a nice definition.
You know, thank you, man. Be here all week. If they say you distracted me from my thought. Basically, they will help. They won't do anything to disrupt your peace on purpose. And if, you know, the time comes where it's that bad and you approach them about it, you know, then they should be willing to do what it takes to help make sure that's okay. And I'm just speaking in general, not just about your family. And then if there's a time when they're not doing that, 9 times out of 10, it's not even intentional. It's just who they are, how they grew up, what stuff they did or did not deal with in their life or overcome. Is how they built. Because like you said, you end up seeing people for who they are, and you realize they probably had some trauma. They probably had some heartbreaks. They probably had a lot of things they didn't deal with that made them who they are today or stagnated their growth. So like they 50 with a 32-year-old mind and I'm not that little child no more, and I got a grown man. Like, nah, like this is what you want. What do you want? So that I think at the end of the day, it's all about protecting your peace, whether that's with your family, with your friends, with your significant other. Protect it. Don't be scared to protect it, or else you're gonna lose your time that you could have been using to protect it. Protection. I'll be here all week.
Before we get out of here, you mentioned that heartbreak was also inspiration for the book as well, correct?
Yes. Just like mainly with the character I wrote about in the book, you know, it's about being like a vulnerable black man who's imperfect, a young black man who's imperfect.
Scary.
It's scary, but it's needed. So it's like,
scary
you
to
know,
accept that.
Yeah, scary to accept that.
Yes, I'm about to add more. Like scary to accept that, and scary to think whether or not your people close to you will accept that.
Yeah,
like it's just spooky.
Anyway, I might mean to cut you off.
It's fine. But like, you know, it's just discussing about how, you know, you are imperfect. You know, dealing with a lot of stuff, including like the story about heartbreak. You know, I dealt with a breakup, you know, this past year. It was very hard for me. You know, I've done things to try to heal, to distract myself from the pain. And it was just hard because I didn't want to accept a lot of things. I didn't want to, you know, accept that, you know, I got my heart broken. I was treated a certain way. But the only thing I could have done and what I learned from that experience was just look at myself and see what I can do to heal, what I can do to improve as a person. And that's really all I can really do, you know.
How long was the relationship, and what did you learn about yourself from the relationship looking back at it?
It was 4 years.
Oh my
Me too, brother.
It was 4 years.
It's a nice bid right there, boy. Bedtime.
That's a heart.
Maximum security.
Woo. All right, my bad.
Shout out to my brothers in level R, man.
Goodness, 4 years. All right, carry on. My bad.
What I learned about myself from the relationship is that, you know, I really just learned how to just be alone again, learn how to love myself again, and also just learn that, you know, I also learned, most importantly, that love is selfless. Love is very selfless. And
explain that. I want you to expound on that one.
What I mean by love is selfless is that, you know, regardless of what anybody does to you, you still love that person regardless, even if they're not with you or they're not in your life anymore, you still love them regardless. And, you know, it's important to recognize what love is and what love is not. And that's what I've learned.
I like that.
I agree.
Hot take.
I agree. Like, I mean, I've been talking all episode. I'm just trying to agree. You know what I'm saying? Let you speak on love, brother. I'm great.
When you say you learned how to be happy alone, how has that impacted where you're at now? Are you dating, or are you in that still alone phase?
I'm still alone. I mean, I've met and talked to people, but as far as trying to commit to someone, trying to be with someone, trying to go into the talking stage with someone, no.
Damn, not even a talking stage?
No.
Because you don't want to, or because it just hasn't happened?
I just don't want to right now. I just feel like it's important to be alone because after the whole breakup happened, I've done some things to where it was unhealthy. I try to date to distract myself from the pain, from the breakup. I try to hook up with people. It was just a lot of stuff that I did, and it was just
you do that.
But it's like it didn't distract me from, you know, what the pain I was feeling. It didn't distract me from not loving this person anymore. So it's like, okay, well, this is not working. So it's like I need to just be alone and just learn how to accept this pain, cry when I need to, be by myself when I need to, not talk to people when I need to, just accept what has happened and just learn how to grow from that pain. Yeah,
that's dope. That is important. I went through that same stage in life where I was dating somebody like 19 or 20 to 24, I think. So prime time. Prime prime time. I missed out on a lot.
Making up for it now, huh, buddy?
Missed out on a lot. So when I was very young in that relationship, and I didn't have like that time is so important because it's when I feel like you learn the most about yourself. You know, college, you're by yourself. You know, you're around other people your same age, and I had myself attached to another person. So I put my identity in that person. I put my identity in making that person happy. So when they were apart from me, I had no idea what I liked, who I was really. Yeah. I was like, I can't think of myself separate from this person because it's the only person I've been around for 4 years. So it took me, but I did the same thing you did. Hooked up with people, went on dates. And I was like, yo, I just need to chill. And literally for 8 months, school, work, home, Xbox. Wow. That's it. That's all I did.
8 months.
8 months. 8 months. And I was celibate for 8 months, as long as I ever went.
My nose is itching. I'm trying to get to the street. Yo, I'm not judging. I'm not here to judge. My nose is running. I'm sorry. That's why I just scratched it. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. I apologize. My nose itched.
But that time was so important because when I got out of that, was like, yo, this is a whole new world. So I think it's definitely important. I'm glad you touched on that.
And a lot of people need to learn how to be alone. I mean, not just because you just got out of a breakup. I mean, well, that too, but also just because you need to just learn how to love yourself, learn how to care for yourself, and not rely and depend on people for that because that's toxic.
Yeah.
And in that same vein, when I had the moment of trying to be alone and figure out myself, you have to detach from things of the world, just like you're attaching from people, attached from Twitter, attached from Instagram. Because again, although you're by yourself, you're exposing yourself to others. You're exposing yourself to others' tendencies.
There we go. There's
okay, so all right, happiness. I'm by myself. I'm trying to figure out happiness. They doing this. They happy. Okay, that's what I got to do. So now you're alone, but now you're trying to chase somebody else's life and chase somebody else's happiness. So like sometimes it's about knowing yourself and knowing discipline. Because maybe you can look at social media and handle it, but a lot of people can't, and they're influenced unintentionally. Yeah. So, just like we are in everyday life. So, again, to both of y'all points, you just got to be alone and find yourself. But also, when you do get back into dating or whatever you're trying to get back into, you have to realize, okay, I'm not alone anymore. So, because just as much as you got wrapped up in your 4-year relationship, you're going to get wrapped up in being alone. And then you're going to be in a relationship.
There you go. Now you're talking.
You know, feel me? But where's the balance? You didn't have an in-between. Because you went from one extreme to the next extreme.
Okay.
So,
preaching Mars.
You know what I mean? So, like, you're going to keep throwing off guys. I'm trying. So, basically, you just need that balance. Or, you know, if you don't got that balance while it's happening, your partner has to realize you have to be open and expose yourself to your partner so they realize what they're getting into and they understand where you're coming from. Okay, I had this extreme, I had this extreme. I've never done this. I want to try this with you, but it might be rocky. Are you willing to bear with me?
Live with me through that.
You know you got to live through it and live through it for better, for worse, and not even better for worse. Like, okay, stay with you better for worse, but like, okay, if it's getting better, great, stay. If it's getting worse, leave. Yeah. But like, whatever it is, let's try to figure out. Let's not judge each other. Let's make it happen because again, like
it's new.
It's new, just like anything else in life. Like you don't know what you don't know, and you only know what you know.
Yeah. And that again goes to what we were talking about earlier about this image of perfection. Like we see perfect relationships. We see this is what relationships should be. They don't show them hurdles. Yeah. And that's real. Like real relationships have hurdles in them.
Every day.
And what you bounce off of what you just said, I feel like that played a huge part in my breakup because being young, you know, being in love, being in relationships, we go into relationships not knowing what to expect. Getting to know the other person, loving the other person when you don't want to love the other person.
So you think you're supposed to?
A lot of people nowadays, they think relationships are supposed to be perfect. They think that, you know, this is supposed to be this way, this is supposed to be that way, but it's not. Relationships are based off of loving the person. Love is just not a feeling, it's an action as well, and just staying committed no matter what. And I think a lot of people just use relationships as like, you know, shopping bags. I'll say that for example. They just
try out.
They just pick it up. When they're done with it, drop it. Keep going to the
lady.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
That's a bow right there.
I think the concept of follow me now.
Here we go. You was in on top now, brother. I don't know if you want to mess it up.
Let me see. So the concept of time is very important, especially when it comes to relationships, because sure, you may look at it as a grocery bag. You pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. But sometimes a grocery bag might have a hole in it. Sometimes it might have a rip in it. It's like, can you salvage that bag or can you not? And can you accept the fact that it may take time to salvage the bag, or can you accept the fact that you use time trying to salvage the bag and it's unsalvageable? But the concept of time, again, we see these images by 28, by 30, by 32. So one, we have those, and two, time is a real thing. You can't get it back. You know, if you talk about having kids, or a woman has a clock or whatever, or a man, like just health wise, like whatever, it's so much to figure out as an adult or just growing and live life that I think sometimes we fail to realize how much that is. And we may put pressure on ourselves or put pressure on our partners about it. And it's like, you expect me to know everything? Like, I don't know nothing, just like you don't know. So like, we either cannot know nothing together, or we can decide we're better off alone, or we decide we're better off figuring out, like, but whatever it is, like, you just have to realize at some point in life, it's a process of figuring out. It's never you know or got together. You may have it under control, you may be in a good position, but it's still more to do, more to learn, more to figure out if you're trying to grow, if you're trying to be the best version of yourselves. So that's all I got.
The great Erykah Badu said, "The wise man knows he knows nothing at all."
You know where she's from?
No.
Dallas, Texas. She's from Dallas, Texas.
Before we get out of here, man, tell them where people can follow you at, plug the book, where it will be available, all your information.
Well, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Fuller_Fuller with 2 R's, and follow me on Facebook, Dontá Fuller, that's my name. The book, you can purchase it on my Lulu.com account. You can purchase it on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles.
Got a link in your Instagram bio for the book too?
Yeah, I'll post that.
Okay, cool.
The name of the book one more time?
Humanly Imperfect.
Humanly Imperfect. I like that. That might be the title of the episode.
All right, very original.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man.